Sorry, you've just caught me polishing my crystal ball, because how good were KRÜ Esports at VCT Champions? Not that we called it or anything, but if anyone knows anything about defying expectations, it's Sergio Aguero's KRÜ Esports. So just what's the key behind their ridiculous rise to the top? Look, picture this. You've had a long flight to Berlin, you're adjusting to the freezing European winter conditions in your hotel room, and tomorrow you're set to play your first match at the VALORANT World Championships, under the heat of the LAN lights, and against opposition that, quite frankly, no one really expects you to beat. KRÜ Esports came into Champions with a massive point to prove after their Masters performances. They'd bagged the podium finish at their own regional Masters way back when, and had already lost to group opponents Team Liquid once in Iceland at Masters 2, on their way to a 7th-8th finish. And Berlin had been a fairly happy hunting ground for Klaus & co, but no one, well, except maybe us and anyone else hyping up the Argentinians' aggressive playstyle, could have predicted just how far their Cinderella story would go. As a relative newbie to the VALORANT esports game, KRÜ has quickly developed into the shining light of the LATAM scene. Like your best mate blinding you with a torchlight, KRÜ are hyper-aggressive, super fast, and will hunt you down with extreme prejudice if you give them an opening. Every single player on their roster knows their role and executes not just with uncanny skill, but with the speed and ferocity of a jet riding a blade storm. And nowhere was their style more elegantly put to work than in their second win of Champions, the victory that turned Future Earth on its axis and sent Sentinels home in the group stage with their tails firmly between their legs. Nags proved to be the decisive duelist, as the jet main consistently ruined the plans of TenZ and Dapper, a late map 2 4K, stopping the Sentinels show in its tracks, along with some impressive pistol kills to keep KRÜ ahead on the eco rounds. A key part of their super combative approach is the ability to catch teams out even when they have the economical and utility advantage. If you want to see how a thrifty round should be played, watch KRÜ Esports. In the final jet battle of the day though, it was Nags that won out against Dapper, and with one last tidal wave of pressure, KRÜ did what many thought was impossible in toppling the tournament favourites. But KRÜ just did what they do best: they attacked. And their incessant assaults paid off in basically every game they played. Fnatic, the European superpower who had clean swept their own group of death, couldn't keep up with KRÜ's insatiable appetite to get into a fight. The aggro Argentine's other deadly duelist, Kesnit, took the spotlight this time, winning 2v1s like they were going out of fashion and spearheading his team's recovery to win map 1, ultimately topping the leaderboard going plus 23 and snagging almost 70 kills across the 3-map match. When all was said and done, Kesnit finished Champions with the 3rd most frags of any player, beaten only by Gambit's Chronicle and Defo. But it wasn't all about the duelists. Every player pulled their weight across KRÜ's 14 maps at Champs. Klaus and Mazzino especially delivering in their semi-final against Gambit. In the biggest clash of styles since Sephiroth had a sword fight with Mario, the stoic, plodding, poking style of Gambit met the hot-headed hostility of KRÜ's attack. In-game leader Klaus was the ultimate shot caller, leading his pack of underdogs on exceptionally timed rotates to flush out the Russians at every opportunity. And were it not for a slightly out of character 6-round lead collapse, we really could have been talking about VALORANT's first world champions right now. A top talent pool and enough aggro to make a Final Fantasy boss blush weren't the only keys to KRÜ's season-defining Cinderella run though. Considering how much winning KRÜ do, it makes sense that they have a coaching team with some serious winning pedigree behind them. Rodrigo Ona Dalmagro, the distinctively bald-headed hotshot you may have seen jumping up and down on stream, is a vital cog to the playing style that got KRÜ where they are today, gaining a deserved reputation for fiery expressions of disappointment and complete utter dance-like-no-one-is-watching celebration when his players pull another clutch win out of the bag. Backed by the slightly more reserved B. Tony, himself a several times over Argentine Counter-Strike champion, KRÜ's coaching team run a tight ship. Guardiola-esque tactical nuance, combined with the keyboard-to-the-wall passion only South American competitive spirit can create. KRÜ's VCT season may have ended in disappointment in the end, but the performance of dark horse teams from all over the world at Champions is proof that VALORANT is more than just EU versus NA. From Southeast Asia to Brazil, from LATAM North to LATAM South, KRÜ's semi-final appearance is a rallying cry. Underestimate the underdogs at your peril, and don't be surprised when they bite back.